one good day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Yeah. Birds chirping and I hear my name. Grasping into a light.
Damon, show me.
Tell them how you really feel.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's live stream, where we will be continuing the development of Ghosted, the JavaScript phaser game that we've been working on. No real plans, we're just gonna keep pushing ahead on it, and yeah, let's get cracking. Damon, main screen. Damon, main screen.
Showing your computer screen.
Alright, let's see here. Damon, 2-hour timer. Damon, 2-hour timer.
2-hour timer has begun.
So picky. So this is where we left off. We have a walk animation now, which was painful to make, but totally worth it, because now our character actually swings her arms around and moves and looks like she's walking when she's walking instead of just sliding around. So that's pretty cool. We've also got our little cell phone menu that we've started. I think this might be something that we'll continue on with tonight, but I want to sort of start thinking about how we're going to integrate that into the game world. So, I guess the first thing we want to do maybe is just draw up a little dummy NPC and expand our map out a bit. That sounds like a reasonable place to start. So, yeah, why don't we do that? Make a new file. Make it... How big is Mary? Let's take a look at her properties. 32 by 80. Okay. Let's make another one that's 32 by 80. So, because I'm feeling lazy and I don't feel like animating this entire stream, I think what we're going to do is just make an box. Let's maybe make it like this. And we'll give it a face, because of course our box has to be friendly. Lovely. So we'll call this dummy NPC. And yes, we are saving to the right directory, so that's good. Export the sprite sheet. Oh yikes. Apparently we don't want to trim it, but output file and JSON data we might as well, because in the future we're probably going to look at tweaking that. So, yeah, let's change this to an array, because I have no idea what that does, quite frankly, but I know it seems to work when I choose that setting, so yeah. So cool. We've got our little dummy NPC now. We'll import him. We're just gonna, yeah, I guess we'll import him as a Atlas sprite. So we'll say this.load.atlas dummy NPC assets/dummy NPC.png assets/dummy NPC.json, and then we'll create his animations from Ace Sprite, even though he doesn't actually have any yet. Although actually, why don't we change that right now? We'll just give him, call that one frame we've got his idle state. So we'll say new tag. We'll call this dummy idle. Save it and re-export it. Form. Yes. So there we go, now he has a state. And if we saved that, and there's no errors, so that's good. It means it's importing him correctly. Now, if we go into our game scene, which is over here. Actually, you know what? I did just think of something that would probably be a good idea to do on this stream, and that is cleaning up our code a little bit and making it more modular and repeatable and all that stuff, all that goodness. So it looks like we don't need this UI game to be imported here. So, yeah, it still works, so that's good. Alright. But before we do any of that, let's just throw in our new little guy. We'll say, yeah, we'll make something in our map. So we've already got a characters layer. And it looks like that's how we're getting Mary. So we'll say else if object.name equals, let's say, NPC. And then in our map, we'll create a couple points, maybe just over here and one over here. And we'll give them the name NPC. This one can be NPC as well. I always forget how to export in all the different programs we use. So we're saying whoa, no, not as image. Say export as, suppose citymap1.json. Yeah. Yes, we do want to replace it. Yes, we still want to replace it. So now we'll say console.log object. Just see if it is working. And there it is. There's our two NPC entries. So seeing as we're going to be starting to abstract our code a bit and put it all nicely into there, everything, blah blah, everything has its own classes and stuff, why don't we start with the NPCs? So we'll create a new class, create a new folder first actually. Well, we've already got one for components. Why don't we create one for sprites? So we'll create it in the source, call this sprites, and then we'll create a new file in sprites called dummy npc.js. And we'll import game objects from and we'll extract a sprite from game objects. And we'll say class dummy NPC extends sprite. Give it a constructor, which will take a scene, an X, and a Y, and for now that's it, but in the future we'll probably add into that. We'll say super scene X, Y, and the texture is going to be dummy NPC. We'll say export default dummy NPC. Now we're exporting them. And we're also going to do what? We'll say scene.add.existing this and scene.physics.world.enable this. So now we can go back to our game scene, make a new import section for sprites. We'll say import dummy NPC from /sprites/dummy NPC. Then we'll say, do we already? Oh, we're not pushing it to anything yet. So, okay, that's fine. We'll just say for now. Well, actually, no. Let's this dot NPCs, make a new array for NPCs, and we'll say this dot NPCs dot push new dummy NPC, and this is where we're going to specify its properties. So we can say scene is this, X is, actually we'll go do the same thing we did with Mary. We'll say const XY equals object, and then we can just say X and Y, and let's take a look. And look at that, now we have some dummies. We can just walk right over them at the moment, so that's something we're gonna have to change. But they're there. Wunderbar. So now I think we need to get some depth sorting working. So let's say update. We'll say this dot set depth, this dot y. And in our update of the game scene, we'll call those update functions NPC updates. So we'll say this dot NPCs dot for each NPC. So for each NPC, we'll say if NPC dot update. Maybe we'll take it a little further and say type of NPC dot update equals function. We'll say if it's a function, we'll call it. We'll say this dot or NPC dot update. Now let's see what happens. So now I'm behind him and now I'm in front of him. Pretty nifty. We're gonna have to adjust the body offset so that it's, because right now you can see her feet kind of go on the other side of him, like halfway through him, but we want that to be right at the bottom. But still, it's a little bit of a step in the right direction. So, how are we going to accomplish that? I believe we can do that with set origin. So we'll say, maybe under this, we'll say this dot set origin. 0.5 for the X is fine, and 1 for the Y. There we go. Still not quite perfect, but it's probably as perfect as it's going to be. Alright. Okay, so we got that. Now what do we actually want to do with our NPCs? For one thing, I think it would be cool if they actually moved around, but I kind of want that to be in a controlled manner so that it makes sense where they're walking on the map. Like if in the future we have sidewalks and roads and stuff like that, then we don't want them walking around in the middle of the road if there's cars and stuff, but we would want them walking on the sidewalks. So that's going to require a little bit of thought on how to build that out. And also, if we're going to constrain their movement based on the map, we kind of need those map elements in place, I would think. So, yeah, I'm wondering where we should start with that. Well, why don't for now we just give them some random movement so they actually just move around a little bit on their own. Which we can do in their update function. We'll add... Here, first we'll add to the map a little bit. So that's FG collides. That's FG I think one thing we have to fix is on FG. We want this tile to actually be on FG collides. Now
I remember the days.
We'll make a wall around the entirety of the map. So we'll basically make them walk around and bounce off the walls. Simple enough. Oops. So we'll start with an FG collide slayer. What else is on FG collides? Okay. So those are on just FG. So we'll put that on just FG. So that's really all we have on just FG. So I think that one should be FG collides. This will be on FG collides. Correct. I think so. Now FG collides also contains the corners. Yeah. So we want that one to be there. Now BG collides. It's basically all the background walls. BG itself doesn't have anything yet, so cool. No, right, it's locked. Hoot-dee-doop. Okay, let's save that and export it. Take a look. There we go. Now we have a map that constrains us inside of it, so we can't just walk forever. Just make sure all the collisions are working right. One thing I did notice as well that we might look at fixing tonight is if you hit the wall, it doesn't always seem to do it, but anyway, sometimes when you hit the wall, it'll do some weird stuff. There we go. Anyway, yeah, so that's good. So now we'll add some colliders between... Yeah, so same colliders as this, but actually we're going to set up this collision detection. Can go above. And then the Mary collisions can go in there. Now, actually, I have a theory. I want to see if you can add Phaser 3 collision detection to an array of game objects. Physics, add collider to array. This is object 1, object 2. Arcade collider type. What is an arcade collider type? Oh yeah, array of game objects, so maybe it'll work. So normally what I do is I add the colliders to each object in there, but maybe we actually can just put it down here, and we'll say another one of these, but we'll say this dot NPCs, and then in the NPC code we'll just say this dot body set velocity x 10. Let's see what happens. So they're moving along. Let's see what happens when they hit the wall. Do they just go through it, or do they stop? Hey, look at that, he stops. Just make sure it applies to both of them. Guess I could have made it a little faster, but oh well. Alright. Just gonna shoot my brother a text, see if he wants to hop on and say what's up. Where is he? Yo, come chill on the stream. There we go. And look at that. Our collision detections are working, so that's really good to know. You can apply it to an array instead of individual objects. So that's really cool. So now, what I think I'll do, give it a speed first of all. This dot move speed. It's like 50. And what I think I'm gonna do is say const left and right equals this dot body dot blocked. So if it's blocked from the left, we'll say this dot body set velocity x negative, no wait, positive, this dot move speed, else if right is this dot body set velocity x negative this dot move speed, and that's about it. Oh, and I guess we gotta initiate it somehow too, so we'll say this dot body dot set velocity x, this dot move speed. Let's see if they bounce around. There you go. So now they're just basically bouncing around the world. So it's something. Would be kind of cool if they moved on the Y as well, but for now that'll do, because I think I am eventually going to be scrapping this system in lieu of a bit more of a sophisticated movement system, but that's something. So now I think what I want to do is start to abstract Mary's logic into her own little class like this. Because then we'll just be working with classes instead of everything being dumped into this one game file. So let's do that. Mary.js. She can go in sprites. Import game objects from Phaser. Class Mary extends sprite. Her constructor will also take a scene. And X. See, it's not a Z. X and a Y. Super, scene, X, Y, and Mary. Export default Mary. Now, this is her sort of initialization stuff. So we'll snag that. Don't need this one. Take out all the instances of this.Mary because now it's just this. All the collision stuff is the same. We're going to take the target X and Y, plop that in there. Take that, plop it in there. Take that, put it in there. And all that can go in there. Now the first thing in our update function is going to be updating her depth sorting. Same as the dummy NPCs. Okay. We want all of that. Now we have to start translating this into a class function. So basically every call for this.Mary is going to be replaced with this dot. Mary dot, this dot. Now I also want to replace Mary Annander with this.Annander because it no longer has to be specific to her. Well, it is inherently now specific to her. Alright. Now let's try importing her and see what happens. I'm guessing there's going to be a couple errors, but so Mary is null. We are going to keep the reference to Mary. See, this.Mary equals new. Oh, we do need to add her to the scene. Let's do that. Scene dot. Oh, we're gonna have to import pmath too. Add dot existing this scene dot physics. Whoa. Physics dot world dot enable and enable this. We're also gonna say math as pmath. Now we have reference for that. Are we referencing the scene anywhere, I wonder? Nope, okay, so we don't need a reference to the scene, that's good. So yeah, in the game scene we'll say equals new Mary. We'll say scene is this, and we'll say X is that, and Y is that. Okay. Cannot aha! So we'll say scene.on. L block is not defined. Where is it not defined? Oh, game scene. Oh. Okay, we forgot to grab that. That presumably goes here. We can replace that as well. Mary blocked H with just blocked H. Horizontally, or vertically, I mean, with block B. L block is not defined, so still. Oh, because I didn't save that. Okay, move to undefined, no problem. So again, we need to replace that with scene. And it will actually be this. Okay, we're getting there. Don't have the animations working yet, but we are getting there. Okay. So her code for stopping her doesn't seem to be working. Yeah, this is where we did that. Okay, we'll come back to that. We'll do the animations first. Left, right, or up, down. Oh! Hang on. I don't think we're actually calling her update function, are we? Change this to sprite update functions. We'll say this.mary.update. Woo! Cannot read property X if undefined. Okay, that's fine. That's just another reference to Mary that doesn't exist anymore. Hey, look at that. Now she's working, and she is working well. And she's working as her own abstracted sprite, so that's pretty awesome. Cool. Alright. So we've got her abstracted. We've got our little NPC boxes that are moving around. And what else? I think we could start expanding out the map a little bit. Oh, that was weird. Oh. What was that all about?
Been on the streets a few months. I'm trying to pick myself up. I may be living alone, but
maybe this should go up here. Could be a layering thing, or a order of operations thing, so let's try that. Yeah, it seems to have got it. There we go. Okay, cool. No weird layering issues now. Okay, so because we want these NPCs to eventually walk along the sidewalks of the map, that's how I'm picturing it anyways, I think what we could do is start, expanding our map and actually making sidewalks. So, let's see. Let's open up our tile set and start expanding that. Tile set 1, I think is what we called it. Let's just find it. Tile set 1. There we go. Alright. Make a new frame, cut that out. And we'll say, this will make it like a gray color, that makes sense. Oops, don't want a gradient, we want just a regular fill bucket. And we're gonna want it so that there's like a line, because sidewalks usually have like seams on them. So let's throw a line there, and we'll say tiled mode on the y-axis. So that looks seamish to me. I'm thinking we'll probably end up doing it. See what tiled on both axes looks like. Okay. So, I think that works for one. I'm just trying to plan out how this is going to work when we're drawing out the map. So we've got, that's like our center tile, or our center sidewalk thing. And we'll do one for when there's the edge of the sidewalk from the top and bottom. Top. I guess we'll need one from the left and right as well. Oops. So we can take the eraser. That looks alright to me. Maybe like that. No. Keep it how it was. Just basically rounding off the corners on top, on every side. We're gonna do one. And I think on these like cap pieces, we'll call them, it doesn't really make sense to have the seam, because the seam will be the last, on the edge of the last center tile piece. So we'll do one, basically we can just flip this image. So we'll say, edit, so control H, nope, that didn't work. Either. Oh, shift H. There we go. Shift V. Okay, so that's our curbs, so to speak. I think we should also make one for roads, so that'll be like a dark asphalt color. Maybe this dark green will work. Yeah, that works for me. So the road's probably going to be like 3 tiles wide. If the sidewalks are 2 tiles wide, it would make sense for the road to be 3 or 4 maybe even tiles wide. So we'll do one with nothing, and then we'll do another one with a line down the middle. So we'll do it like one away from the edge. And then that'll repeat like so. Actually, maybe we'll give it a bit more of a gap than that. Oops. Even more, I think, would be good. There we go. That's starting to look like a road. The center line and all that. Alright, let's take what we've got and start drawing out maps, and then we'll start to figure out if there's stuff missing that we also need. Because that's what I always find happens when you're making maps. You start without knowing 100% of like what you need, and then as you start to draw it all out, you start to figure it out. Alright, and there we go. We've now got I should probably be working with the embedded one. So, gotta remember that our NPCs are right now just bouncing around. But actually, I'm not gonna worry about that too much. What I am gonna do, ditch this wall. Maybe just ditch the side wall. There we go. Start drawing out our sidewalk. Oh, I guess so see, this is what I'm talking about. We always end up finding more that we need. So we're also going to need one here without the seam. First one we'll want that one. And I'm sort of thinking we might need 2 layers of background as well. Yeah, we probably will. So we'll make another one. BG2. That goes under BG.
Holding on to what I know, to everything I've learned, what is real and fabricated.
Grab the road tile.
What is my problem? What can I get out of this world that I created? Fighting the storms in my head. Don't know where I have been. I'm alone, no one to turn to, no one understands. This shit's too complicated. Away, and I feel like I am someone else. Away,
We'll have the road just starting up there.
And I don't want to live
Now we'll have the sidewalk on the other side of the road. Probably just need it there. Oh, so okay, here's another one that we're gonna need. We also need a horizontal line for our road marker. Rotate 90. All right. There we go. Now we've got that one.
I don't wanna keep on wasting life. I'm drowning in my head, I'm losing the mind. And if you could know, yeah, if I could show you, I don't wanna keep on living this life so faceless.
I just realized. Oh, for one thing, I'm doing that on the wrong layer. For another, this sidewalk should probably extend a little bit further so that we can have a... Oh, and we're going to need the seams going the other way too. So that's an easy fix as well. But now this is the problem with editing tile maps when you already start implementing them is you start getting into issues like this where you're pushing your tiles along and then your tiles get all mismatched on the actual sheet. So like you'll see what I mean in a second here. We just want to rotate this one. Rotate it the other way. Counterclockwise. So watch. Now we're gonna have to redo that map because we bumped everything out. See, now it looks all messed up. That's fine. We hadn't done much, and that's why it's good to sort of start making maps early, is so that if you run into these issues, you're not screwed later. I mean, obviously the if you are really deep into a map already and you suddenly realize, oh, I need this other tile, another way to do it is just add another row of tiles or just tack them on the end instead. But I like keeping all my tiles neat and tidy, so that's why I like to do it this way. Oops. Go. This one goes there. Now we have our oopsies, our horizontal ones going this way. Oops. And this goes on the lower level.
to me like, give it to me like, give it to me like, give it to me like.
Alright.
I've got a premonition, I'm dreaming you and I. All my darkest fears are coming outside. We got a billion races, we got this melody. And you can trust me, baby, we got everything. Call me whenever you feel alone, babe. And when you need to cry, I'll be by your side. Call me whenever you need
Let's get the other side of the road.
when you need to escape from 1,000 fires. I'm gonna kiss you wherever you are. And I'm gonna miss you, I will never lie. Call me whenever you need someone, babe. We're running in the jungle of love.
And this one. And then
You were stuck in my head and I don't know why. We got a billion races, we got this melody. And you can trust me, baby, we got everything.
cool.
Call me whenever
Let's export that and see what this is looking like in the actual game.
cry, I'll be by your side. Call me whenever you need someone, babe. And when you need to escape from 1,000
So we're getting a little bit of flickering on there. Oh, and we're not rendering the road yet. So we gotta fix that. Not crazy about the flickering though. We're gonna have to do something about that. But I do think the tiles more or less look like a sidewalk. It's not perfect, obviously, but looks like alright. I'm obviously not going for legendary graphics on this game. That's not really the goal. But just some basic stuff so you know what's going on. So let's see here. Right, we got to do another layer for that lower back bar, lower BG. We'll call this BG2 and BG2. Now we should be able to see the road. There it is. Still getting flickering, so that might be something we want to fix tonight. But it is more or less a road. And I also think it would be cool if we could get the camera culling, or whatever it's called, working. Not culling, the camera dead zone working. So that way when you get to the edge here, it doesn't reveal the rest of the map. So why don't we do that first? Phaser 3 camera dead zone. That's V2. Why does V2 always come up when you search for V3? Yeah, this is what we want. I think it's called Dead Zone. Cameras.main.set dead zone 400 200. Okay. So is that like the width and height of our thing? You know what? Yeah, let's just try it like this first and see what happens. So we'll say console log map, just to see what we can work with on the map. Tile width, tile height, height in pixels, and should be a width in pixels, yes. So that's what we want. So So down here where we're setting up the camera, we'll say this.cameras main.set dead. What was the other options? Excuse me. Set dead zone. Let's just try that. The width of the dead zone in pixels. If not specified, the dead zone is removed. Sets the camera's dead zone. Dead zone is only used when the camera is following a target. It defines a rectangular region within which, if the target is present, the camera will not scroll. If the target moves outside the area, the camera will begin scrolling in order to follow it. Okay, this might not be what we want, but might be too. So we'll try it. We'll say map.width in pixels. Map.height in pixels. See what happens. Yeah, no. So that's like I don't think dead zone is the thing we're looking for. It's something similar to dead zone, but it's not dead zone. Just take a look at the camera notes. Bounds. I think it's bounds is what we want. No, it might not be bounds either, actually. What do we want? Camera follow the player with dead zone. Oh, it is camera bounce. Okay. Set camera bounds. Okay, so we'll say set bounds. Say 0, 0, and width and height. There we go, so it's still following us, that's good. And what happens if we get up here? Yeah, that's what we want. Cool. Alrighty. Decent. Which Wi-Fi am I on? Oh, I'm not even on the good Wi-Fi. Awkward. Hopefully this is coming through alright. Alright, so... got the bounds, we've got map. So yeah, now I think let's try and fix the flickering pixels of Doom. So I don't like that, that bugs me. Flickering pixels of Doom. Let's try and figure out how to fix that. I think one of the ways we can go about doing this is by extruding the tiles, which I think Sprite has a thing for. Let's export spreadsheet, extrude. Is that 1 pixel it's extruding it by? Looks like it. So now it's probably going to be all messed up, yes. There is, however, no flickering. Now, somewhere in here, I think from here, we're going to have to say why can we not edit this now? Oh, that's a bummer. Might have to redraw our whole map again. That sucks.
One hour remaining.
1 hour remaining. Now, let's take a look at this. So they are 32 by 32, but we're now either using margin or spacing, one of the two. I think it might be spacing. What does it want, like? Oh. Wrong folder. Source, assets. Does that look any different? It's a little bit different. It almost looks like it's 1 pixel, 2 pixels off still, so I don't know if margin is the right thing. Let's try this again. Tile set 1 extruded. Yes, replace. It's still looking off to me. Look it up. How to use extruded tile set in tiled. The solution is to extrude the tiles in your tile set by 1 or more pixels. Currently the recommended tool is Sporadic Labs Tile Extruder. You can either perform the extrusion on your source image at once as a once off, or on your distributed images as you build as part of your build step. Okay. Extrude the source image. Oh, you... Interesting, you tell it... Oh, interesting, okay. Alright, so that's cool. I think what I'm gonna follow what this is saying. I'm not gonna extrude it from here, but instead we're gonna install that package. I think it's a package. Oh, I see. So spacing is between the tiles. Margin is from the edge of the thingy. So npm install tile extruder. Let's take a look. Oh wait, usage is a library. Oh yeah, okay, so global install.
Get down to the baseline.
I'm probably gonna have to sudo that. Maybe not. One can hope not. Yep. Permission errors. Try that again. All right. So let's see.
You got me trapped inside this spell. Now I feel like your demons drag me close to hell.
Using the extruded tile set. Tile width, tile height, margin and spacing. So let's try it. Let's try it first as with no margin. So let me get my terminal up front. There we go. So now we can go tile extrude. So we'll CD into source/assets. Tile extruder. Width 32, tile height, tile height 32, input dot slash tile set 1 dot png. I'm just... Well, we'll play with this and we'll figure it out. Oh, I see. Default is 1. Okay. Okay, so... output dot slash tile set 1 extruded.png. There we go. Now we have a tile set 1 extruded.png. Cool.
Quiet is driving me insane. Silence rattles in my brain. Yeah, I gotta get away. Always waiting for the phone, so I built my towers tall, wandering through the
So where we add the tile set image, we say tile set 1. Extruded, 32, 32, 0, 0. And in our boot scene, we need to import the extruded one. Let's see what happens. Oh, right. Yeah, that didn't work. I mean, it's not bleeding, so that's good, but it's definitely not how it should be. That's interesting. It says the tile extrusion is only needed when using WebGL and not Canvas. Good to know, but WebGL has a lot of cool features that we might want to leverage, so we'll stick with it. So let's try it again with margin and spacing. Oh, that's weird. I ran npm run start from assets and it totally worked. Awkward. So what are they using for margin and spacing? Margin 1, spacing 2. Woo. Why didn't that work? Let's actually take a look at the image. Here's tile set 1. Here's tile set extruded. So it is doing what we're expecting of it, I think, because it looks like 2 times thicker there on the edges. Yeah, so I think it's working as expected. It's just for some reason we're not. What I don't understand is that we're not specifying how many pixels we're extruding by in our code. Like here they're saying 1 and 2 for the margin and spacing, but if we're using 0 margin and 0 spacing, then... Or are we using 0 margin and 0 spacing? What are the defaults, I wonder? Yeah, default 0, default 0. So the key is the key for the phaser.cache image used for the tile set. So yeah, we are saying tile set 1 extruded there. Saying it's 32 by 32. And yet, it's all messed up. Oh! All right. Let's look up how to use an extruded tile set in Phaser. WebGL tile extruder, that's great, but
something under your breath. I can't take it. I know what you're thinking. I wish I could fix this, yeah. If there's something that you need to say, I know it ain't easy living inside your brain, for sure. You keep telling me that it's all okay, but I know, yeah, your silence speaks so loud.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
we are using the asset slash tile set 1 extruded. Now what I'm wondering is, yeah, we should still probably be using the same one in the map. Map.tileset, add tileset image. What is the GID number? If adding multiple tile sets to the map, specifying the starting GID this set will use. Okay, I don't think that's it.
I was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through colored glass,
Width,
time
height.
rolls on enough
Ew, it really doesn't like that, does it?
Every little now and then, it creeps on back to shade my smile.
Oh, maybe yeah, maybe that's not applying a margin and spacing. Maybe that's like taking a margin and spacing, and that's why it wasn't working. Maybe. What if I use tile set 1? Now it works. Do we have bleeding though? Yeah, we still got bleeding.
Set a young heart on the run to see it crashing out the sky, falling
So
walking alone on the coldest night.
that just doesn't work, does it?
There's nothing I can ever say to change your mind. I gotta live without your love. We've said goodbye.
Just make sure you update your tile map creation. Some tile set, some key, 32, 32,
Change your
1, 2. Kind of just want to change it to canvas quickly and see what they're talking about if it doesn't. Just take a look at this. Yeah, look at that. It's not bleeding with. Oh, it is still bleeding with canvas. Yeah. It's not as bad, but it is still doing it. Okay, so that's not a good solution anyway. So I just don't know what to do because I'm doing it like it says, but it's shifting our image over. Actually, I wonder. It goes tile margin, tile spacing. So tile margins, no, tile spacing 0, tile margin 1, maybe. It's a little better. Okay, that totally didn't work. Hiya. Oh, I just can't figure this out. All right. Let's see. Come on. Man, could my roommates be any louder? Seriously. Whoa. Sorry. Dude. This guy was watching my stream the other night. That's insane. He's got a crazy good rep on Stack Overflow. What's up, Chris? That's dope. I recognize his picture and his name. That's nutty. Okay. Extrude the source images. If you choose to extrude the source images, you will need to make the appropriate adjustments in tiled. You will also need to make sure you maintain the gap while editing the image. Oh, hold up, so... You will also need to make sure you maintain the gap while editing the image. This is, so option 2, extrude the distributed image. This is subjectively simpler as it allows you to keep tiled and your images as is while working on them without needing to make any changes in tiled. During your build step, introduce a command, for example, npm run process assets, that will extrude the tile sets and copy them to your build folder. Right. Just make sure you update your tilemap creation. The extrusion. Okay, so it says here we need to make appropriate adjustments in tiled. So what happens if we make a new tile set? But this feels like what I was doing with, again, with tile set 1, extruded. This feels exactly the same as what I was doing with, oh wait, no, we want the extruded one. So, margin would be 1, I guess. And yeah, there it is again. That's the same problem. Bah, come on, this is getting really frustrating. Try it again. Tile set 1, extruded. And just leave that as nothing. That doesn't work either. Come on, Google, you've got to have something for me. It's an extruded tile set. Maybe he touches on extruding in here. Bleeding Be Gone, Dungeon Crawler in Phaser 3, Part 2.5. Alright, let's watch it. Damon, pause music.
Music paused.
Is your agency using WordPress to build websites? That's like carving a chicken with a handsaw.
Is it?
Welcome back to Arcade. I am
30
Super
minutes
Tommy,
remaining.
and this is a series on making a dungeon crawler like the game you see here. And we left off last time in part 2. We created our Faune character right here. See, you can move around, up and down. And you also see that there are these artifacts when we move. So first thing, we're going to fix that, and then we're going to add an enemy, time permitting.
Okay, cool.
It
We don't
shouldn't
need to
take
see
that
the
long
enemy. I
to
just want
fix
to
these
see
tiles,
how to fix
but
the
it might. So what
tiles.
we're going to have to do is actually extrude these tiles. So extruding simply means that we are going to, as you can see by this picture here, basically add some
Yes.
spacing in between our tiles. Right, so there's a whole explanation of how this effectively works, but there is this command line tool on GitHub called Tile Extruder from Mike Westhead, the same guy that wrote the Modular Game Worlds and Phaser article that I had shown in part 1. Great series. This tool is also really good, or really helpful to fix this problem. So I've already got it installed, but if you don't, you'll have to use npm and install Tile Extruder globally. That's the recommended way to use it. And so what we're going to do, I'll show you how to use this. So we're going to stop our server here. And in our Dungeon Crawler project, in our public folder, so see public, we have in our tiles folder in public, right here, dungeon tiles. So we're going to extrude these tiles. So I have Tile Extruder installed. And here is what we got to do. We got to give it our tile width, tile height, the input tile set, and then an output tile set, or tile PNG rather. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to basically follow these directions. There's really no more to it than that. Then we're going to make some updates in Phaser, and you'll see that it'll be fixed. So first thing, tile width. Actually, I think he's got shortcuts. So -W, a little less typing, 16, I believe -H, height, also 16. That is our tile set is 16 by 16. Next, input.
We've done this.
-I. We are going to import as input our dungeon tiles.png, and then -O is output right here, -O, and we are going to call this dungeon tiles extruded.png. Is there anything else? No. Now you could specify your own custom margins and or spacing as necessary, but we don't need to. We're just going to do it. Okay, it's done, and you see we've got dungeon tiles extruded.png. We can even look at it. You'll notice it looks mostly the same tile. So this is the original, right? And this is the extruded version. You can see there is, more gaps in between each tile, right? You can see right there. These are definitely together, and these are together, if you recall. Okay, now we have the extruded. Let's go to preload, and we're going to load our extruded tiles instead of our normal tiles. Save that. Just gonna run it and show you what it's gonna look like with these new extruded tiles. Okay, refresh. So you see it looks terrible. What do we do? So what, don't worry, we can fix this only because we should do more reading. Because down here, I think it'll tell you that you need to, using extruded tiles, there's a couple ways to do this. Go back to tiled and then change it, but that's a lot of work. Alternatively, what you can do is simply, when you're doing the add tile set image in Phaser, specify a new 1 pixel margin and 2 pixel spacing. And so we are going to do that.
Oh.
So 1, 2.
So it should be 1, 2.
Just so that we can offset it for what we just did in the extrusion.
Okay, that's all we needed to know. And I think it's working. Woo! No more bleeding. Look at that, people. Thank you. You get a like. And you get a star. Oh, I've already started. Okie dokie. Oh, look at that, people. We got it. No more bleeding. Damon, play music.
Music resumed.
Damon, skip song.
Skipped.
So, one thing I did notice is our little box characters are going under the tiles currently, which isn't quite what we want. So that's a layering thing. So I think we can fix that in game scene by saying this.bg.set bg2 set dev start
24 minutes remaining.
depth -2. Let's follow this guy and see if he goes under. Yeah, he still does. Weird. Oh, it's because it's based on me. Shoot. That's tricky. How am I going to solve that? I think that's a problem for next stream. Tomorrow night at 7 PST. Still pretty cool. We got a little bit done tonight.
I know the sadness that cripples you. It comes in waves and out of the blue. But there are days you feel freedom too.
Why don't we just flesh out the map a little bit for the remainder of the stream? That's what I feel like doing.
The sunlight, darkness can't hold you here. Bold and bright, push through the atmosphere. This is your dawn, this is your break. Move like the sunlight, darkness can't hold you here. Bold and bright, push through the atmosphere.
Get more of a road going. Do out a couple city blocks here.
Twenty minutes remaining.
20 minutes remaining, people. Alright. Neat. Starting to get our little neighborhood.
Seventeen minutes 8 seconds remaining.
17 minutes and 8 seconds remaining, people. Very precise. You know what? There's another tile I want to add here. And that is like a gravel tile. Or like a dirt and grass tile maybe? Let's do gravel first. Where's the little spray? That is the one. Let's see how that looks tiled. Pretty good. Export that. Now we'll put this on BG. Does it matter BG1 or 2? Probably BG2. See how that looks. Oh, we're gonna have to run the tile extruder. Now every time we update the tiles, we have to extrude them again. Ooh, it's a bit much. Cool. There you have it. We've got some gravel, and we've got a sidewalk, and a road, and a wall. I like the yellow lines on the road. I think that's pretty nifty. I do think I might dial them back by 1 though, on every side. Why don't we do that? Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, it is totally because of my position. See, if I go under him, he disappears. But if I stay above him, he doesn't disappear. Anyway, we'll figure that out. We'll always figure it out. Why don't we get this latest build up on GitHub and itch. So we'll say git cd .. Git status. We've changed the citymap1.json. That makes sense. Tileset1, yes. Tileset1 PNG, yes. Boot scene, game scene, yes. Untracked files, so these are all the new files, are dummy NPC stuff, the extruded tile set. I guess we don't need that. Assets, tile set 1, extruded TMX, TSX. Okay. Is there anything else we don't need? I think that's pretty much it. So now we'll say git add all, git status, git dash m, abstract, Mary and dummy NPC to their own classes, adds to tile set and extrudes. Branch of my own. Okay, npm run build. Doop de doop 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 de doop doop. Okay.
Down. Get down. Down. The bass and sound. Get down. The bass and sound. Get down. The bass and sound. Get down. The bass and sound.
The game, and we will upload a new version, which will be from Kirk. Games, Ghosted. You can press that. Move it to just Ghosted builds. Rename that to 005. page, loading game for the first time, run game, and there it is. Now we have our new game. Very cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was a little bit late to this stream, and I think I'm going to wrap it up a little bit early because things are pretty quiet, and I think we've done all we're going to do for tonight. It's only 7 minutes left. So, yeah, without further ado, Damon, roll credits. Damon, roll credits.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Hope you have a great night. See you next time.
Swarm Collective has entered the chat.
Oh,
Welcome,
have a great
Swarm
night.
Collective.
Thanks, Swarm Collective. Good night, everyone.